Hey everyone, and welcome back to Evolve Every Day. The last few years have been tough, haven't they? We've seen entire industries and businesses get wiped out, leaving so many hardworking people in a tough spot. But now, a new wave is coming, and this time, it's not just about jobs being eliminated, it's about people being left behind. Today, I'm going to share some of the hidden rules of life. Understanding these principles is your key to leveling up, to rising above the crowd that's getting stuck in the social quicksand. And trust me, you'll want to stick around to the end, because some of these truths might just change the way you see everything. 1. The Huffington Post once ran a fascinating survey. They presented people with some utterly ridiculous ideas, like the sun revolves around the earth, or that playing the lottery is the best way to invest your money. They just wanted to see what people would say. The results were staggering. It turns out, no matter how absurd an idea is, about 20% of the population will blindly believe it. This is famously known as the 1/5 rule of ignorance. It means that for any foolish concept, you'll always find a group of people who will follow it without question. This is exactly why those scam phone calls, those "you've won a prize" emails, and other simple tricks still claim so many victims, no matter how many times we're warned. It feels like no matter how loud the warnings get, there's always a segment of society that just isn't listening, making them easy targets for anyone looking to exploit them. You know, there are levels to deception. The lowest level is just making things up. The next level is a carefully constructed lie. A higher level is using a half-truth to hide a half-lie. But the most masterful deception of all, it's when every single word is true on its own, but when you put them all together, they paint a completely false picture. Think about this. If you can't argue against a belief you hold, you don't truly own that belief, because every idea has a blind spot, a perspective from which it's wrong. If you can't see that blind spot, you haven't truly understood the idea. It's the same with people. If you feel like you can't walk away from someone, you don't truly deserve to be with them. We are all independent souls. Only when you're strong enough to leave at any moment are you truly worthy of choosing to stay. 2. The biggest difference between science and superstition is this. Science is designed to be proven wrong. A discovery is made, it becomes the new truth, and then it waits for the next discovery to come along and shatter it. That's progress. True enlightenment is when your mind can hold two completely opposite ideas at the same time without an internal war breaking out. When you reach that state of mind, you can embrace everything and accept any outcome. And it's only then that you realize everything that happens is exactly as it should be. 3. Now, let me tell you a little story. Anyone who truly gets this one is on another level. There was a goat who, through sheer determination and a whole lot of sucking up, finally managed to break into the inner circle of the animal kingdom's elite. He was overjoyed, dreaming of how these powerful connections with the top predators would elevate his status. One day, the big shots, the tiger, the wolf, and the lion were planning a weekend barbecue, and they invited the goat. The tiger said, "I'll bring the grill." The wolf said, "I've got the charcoal." The lion chimed in, "I'll handle the spices and skewers." The goat, beaming with pride, enthusiastically said, "Then I'll bring the salad. I grow the best organic greens." The tiger looked at him and said, "We don't really eat vegetables. Just come by yourself. In fact, bring the wife and kids. Make it a family outing. And hey, make sure you take a good shower before you come. The fox is always complaining that you smell a bit gamey." The goat was so touched he could barely speak. He thought to himself, to be friends with these powerful guys, I must have done something truly great in a past life. 4. Here's a number that should worry all of us. In recent years, the birth rate in the US and many developed nations has hit historic lows. For America, it's hovering around 1.6 children per woman, far below the replacement level. What does this tell us? This is lower than it was in the 1940s when the world was tearing itself apart in war, or during the Great Depression when people were starving and homeless. Now, in an age of peace with incredible technology, material abundance, and a life that would look like paradise to our ancestors, why are young people choosing not to have children? The core reason is that we've lost the one thing that's most essential: hope. In the masterpiece sci-fi novel The Three-Body Problem, there's a line that says, "Hope is more valuable to humanity than truth itself." People can survive in the worst conditions, but they cannot survive in absolute despair. The main reason young people are opting out of parenthood isn't just a financial pressure, it's a profound lack of faith in the future. Hope for the future isn't about having more stuff, it's about whether people feel they are treated with basic human decency. Today, our society often feels short on compassion and genuine connection. Hard work no longer guarantees a good life. A college degree no longer guarantees a stable career. Young people who strive and do everything right find themselves unable to afford a place to call their own. Most are forced to accept a life of mediocrity, trading the best years of their lives for a 30-year mortgage on a pile of concrete and steel. And so, many have made the painful, resolute decision not to bring children into this world, refusing to let the next generation endure the same struggle. In this society, it feels like most of us are just passing through, like ghosts in a crowd, disconnected and numb. Our technology connects us in 1,000 ways, but emotionally, it's never felt so cold. Who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? What is my gift? What is my purpose? Deep down, these 5 monumental questions are really just one. Hidden within each of us is a small giant, a part of our soul that remains, even as our bodies come and go. This giant is the very source of our energy, the driving force that pushes us to grow, to become more. But living in this chaotic world can cloud our vision, making it hard to see the true face of that giant. Think about it. Every great philosophy, spiritual tradition, and psychological school of thought has been trying to teach us how to connect with that inner power. Some call it reaching our deepest consciousness or discovering our true nature. Philosophy calls it wisdom. Psychology might label it the subconscious or the true self. The names don't matter. What matters is that you find a way to awaken the giant sleeping within you. The most profound love a man can offer a woman isn't just affection, it's expansion. It's opening her eyes to new horizons, elevating her thinking, and guiding her growth until she can shine brilliantly, all on her own. It's a love so strong that if he were ever gone, she would not only survive, but thrive. And the highest love a woman can give a man? It's to cherish his character, to help him unlock his unique potential, to give him the sweet, nurturing experience of being truly seen and loved. It's a love that uplifts and transforms him, so that even if they were to part, he would be a stronger, better man for having known that love. The greatest love of all is when two people help each other evolve. Have you ever wondered why truly brilliant people sometimes seem to have little patience for small talk or average conversations? The reason is actually quite logical. Most people think in a linear fashion, step by step. They go from A to B to C, then D, to finally arrive at conclusion E. But a brilliant mind doesn't work that way. It makes intuitive leaps, jumping straight from A to E. It's like driving a car. The average thinker is in a manual transmission, needing to methodically shift through every single gear to gain speed. The brilliant thinker is in a high-performance automatic. They just press the gas and the car instantly finds the right gear. They thrive on connecting with others who can keep pace, creating an intellectual spark that ignites new ideas. Forcing them to slow down and explain steps B, C, and D is like forcing a race car to crawl in first gear. It completely stalls their mental momentum. There's a saying, missing out on something was the universe protecting you. Our greatest human flaw is that we constantly look back with regret. We torture ourselves thinking, if I could just go back, I'd do it better, I'd make the right choice. And we drown in what ifs. But this is our biggest delusion. You must understand that every action you took, every choice you made was the absolute best you could do at that time with the knowledge and awareness you possessed. Even if you could go back, you'd make the exact same decision. The past is gone. You can't hold on to it, just as you can't grasp the future. We grow through our stumbles. We learn from our losses. We gain wisdom from our falls. Instead of drowning in regret, we need to wipe our tears and keep moving forward. We imagine that if we had chosen a different road, the outcome would be perfect, but that's just a fantasy. No matter which path you choose, a new set of challenges will arise. The better ending you imagine is an illusion. Choosing again would only mean choosing a different way to struggle. So stop judging your past self with your present eyes. Come back to now. The path you are on is the best path, and the person by your side is the right person to help you face the challenges ahead. Einstein once said, it's easier to smash an atom than a prejudice. The truth is, all of our despair, all of our anxiety comes from within us, from our own old, unchanging ways of thinking. We keep trying the same methods, clinging to the same mindsets, day after day, year after year. Eventually, we get tired of our own damn selves, let alone tiring out the people around us in a world that never stops changing. When the speed of your personal growth can't keep up with your children, educational problems arise. When you can't keep up with your partner, your relationship will face turmoil. When you can't keep up with your clients, your business will falter. When you can't keep up with your boss, your job becomes unstable. And if you can't keep up with society, you will be left behind. Therefore, upgrading your own awareness, your own thinking, is the root solution to every single problem you will ever face. There's a saying that goes, from the foothills, every mountain looks different, but from the summit, you see there is only one moon. It doesn't matter what field you're in. Once you achieve mastery, once you climb to the very peak of your craft, you'll find that we are all looking at the same moon. Even if we walk different paths, the higher our perspective on life becomes, the more similar the landscapes we see. It's a shared understanding among those who have reached the top. So many of our arguments, so many of our conflicts over personal views exist simply because we haven't climbed high enough. Someone halfway up the mountain sees only their small patch of sky. But the person standing on the summit, who can see the entire panorama, realizes that we are all heading towards the same destination. 11. We spend our lives chasing after fame and status, believing that the more wealth and position we have, the better. But we rarely stop to consider that this wealth and power are consuming our own wellspring of good fortune. Why do so many people who achieve sudden fame or success seem to fade away just as quickly? It's because their blessings have run out. When a person is shining their brightest, it is often the moment their good fortune has been fully cashed in. The peak of a glamorous life is also a moment filled with both immense joy and profound sorrow. This is a law of life that not everyone understands. There's an ancient wisdom in cherishing your blessings, in not squandering them carelessly. If the only good fortune a person has left is in the form of money, they are in a dangerous position, because the slightest ripple can cause their world to collapse. The most important work in life is to accumulate merit and good fortune, and always remember to never let your fame or profit outgrow your inner virtue. Because if your character can't support the weight of your position, disaster is sure to follow. 12. To find true, unshakable happiness, there is only one path: to return to our innate goodness. I've said before that human nature can be selfish, but if you believe in the idea that we are all born inherently good, it's because that goodness gets buried under the weight of the world. Our actions become tainted by society, our true nature gets clouded by material desire, and we become greedy, lost, and foolish. We exhaust ourselves seeking validation from the outside world, and over time, the dust on our souls gets thicker and our actions become more and more blind. The philosopher Wang Yangming spoke of returning to our innate conscience. Zen teachings tell us to see our own nature to enlighten the mind. Psychologists talk about finding the true self. Ancient philosophers urged us to know thyself. We constantly remind each other to never forget where you came from. All of these ideas are trying to do one thing: to awaken the original, pure self that lies deep within each of us. We are all born free, but as long as we keep searching for answers outside of ourselves, we forget our roots. We will drift endlessly on the sea of material desire, never finding a true harbor, becoming slaves to our own cravings, forever trapped in the prison of our own perception. Only by returning to that inner conscience can we find true peace and happiness. From there, our inner world becomes strong, and we can finally discover our true value and the meaning of our existence. 13. Here are 5 signs of a powerful inner self. First, remembering these 2 phrases: "This has nothing to do with me," and "This has nothing to do with you." And with that, focusing completely on your own life. Second, the ability to quickly regain your composure in any situation, refusing to let emotions dictate your decisions. Third, knowing exactly what your life's purpose is, which gives you the strength to endure things others cannot. Fourth, knowing what you want and being able to smile and disagree, confident in your own worth, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Fifth, using the certainty within yourself to navigate the uncertainty of the world outside. 14, your awareness and your stability are the keys to handling everything life throws at you. Our lives have 3 great awakenings, and each one is a major upgrade. The first awakening happens when you break free from the chains of circumstance. You're no longer just chasing a paycheck. You achieve financial, emotional, and personal independence. You become a truly free person and begin to think about what really matters on a deeper level. The second awakening is when you discover your unique gift. You find your purpose, your mission in life. It's like Steve Jobs discovering his passion for technology and design, or Michael Jordan finding his soul in the game of basketball. They poured every ounce of their being into their craft and achieved things that were truly incredible. The third and final awakening is when you see through the illusion of life itself and enter a state of enlightenment. You embrace this awakening, this profound understanding. You can look upon all of humanity from a higher perspective, living with a calm spirit, untouched by praise or criticism. You become like someone watching flowers bloom and fade in their own garden, or clouds drift across the sky, completely untroubled. Each of these awakenings is an upgrade in the freedom of your life. Every living soul is destined to awaken. It's just that for most, that awakening only comes in the final moments of life when it's already too late. Here's a powerful rule of thumb for winning people over. With just a few kind words, you'll get about 50% of people on your side. Offer them a small, tangible benefit, and you'll capture 70%. Combine those kind words with a real benefit, and you'll win over a staggering 90%. But if you can masterfully pair the perfect words with the very thing they truly desire, you'll achieve 99% agreement. This is the secret to navigating the human landscape. And if you've done all of that and still can't win someone over, well, they might just be part of that final 1%, the kind of rare, principled individuals you should admire and perhaps even learn from. Have you ever wondered why people who have been through the absolute worst often come out the other side seeming a little distant? It's because when you hit rock bottom, you're given a terrible, clarifying gift. You see people for who they really are, and you see the world without its mask. No one saw the lonely battles they fought, or the moments they nearly shattered. No one cared about the silent struggles they endured. People on the outside just casually remark, "Wow, he's changed." So once you've seen it all, you naturally become more reserved. It's not that you've lost your ability to connect, it's that you've lost your patience for playing games. Here's a profound truth. The answer is always on a higher level than the question. You can't solve a problem with the same level of thinking that created it. For instance, when you feel like you need to improve a skill, like public speaking, what you really need to elevate is your thinking and your awareness. Your mindset is always one level above your skill sets. When you think you need to improve your marketing tactics, what you actually need is a better strategy, because strategy always sits above tactics. The ability to see your problems and yourself from a higher vantage point is one of the most valuable capabilities you can ever develop. Now, listen to me closely on this. Never become a slave to someone else's opinion. The moment you place too much importance on what another person thinks, the moment their approval becomes your standard for action, you have unknowingly handed them your chains. This is true in every relationship. Once you start worrying whether or not someone agrees with you, you are already being controlled by them without even realizing it. The more you care, the tighter their grip becomes. You see, you don't realize that when you're desperately trying to explain and justify yourself, you've already walked straight into their trap. Many people use disapproval as a weapon. They negate and attack you to keep you on a treadmill of proving your worth. Controlling someone is simple. It's not by agreeing with them, but by constantly denying and questioning them, forcing them to exhaust themselves in self-defense. It's like being thrown into a mental asylum and trying to prove you're sane. The more you talk, the more tangled you become, and the more you say, the more they can twist your words. The truly powerful person is the one who has the courage to break themselves down and rebuild from scratch. Think about it. The cells in your body completely replace themselves every 7 years or so. Biologically, the person you were 7 years ago is gone. That's your body's objective renewal process. But the upgrade of the human mind, our consciousness, is painfully slow. There's an old saying that many people die at 30 but aren't buried until they're 80. They live their entire lives trapped in the same loop of outdated thinking. The reason is simple. Our bodies are objective, but our minds are subjective. Objective things change and evolve far more easily than subjective ones. The mind can so easily become a prisoner of its own biases. The speed of our personal evolution is almost always slower than our body's metabolism and the evolution of society itself. This is our greatest challenge as human beings. Isn't it strange? People think that taking 5 years to achieve something magnificent and become extraordinary is too long. Yet, they don't think twice about spending 40 years living in a fog, busy with uninspiring people and meaningless work. This is why so many are left behind by the currents of life. I have never seen a self-motivated, diligent, and curious person complain about their fate. I have never seen a confident, persistent, and down-to-earth person complain about society being unfair. Most of our complaints about the outside world are just an excuse to avoid our own inner work. The strongest person isn't the one who never makes mistakes. It's the one who never stops growing. Growth is the most important thing in life. It is the central theme of our journey. The speed of our growth is determined by our willpower, the expansion of our minds, and the courage to constantly question ourselves. The greatest ally you will ever have in this life is the version of you that is always striving, always reaching, and always evolving. The world never lets down those who put in the work and constantly reflect on their own progress. My hope is that each and every one of us on the path we have chosen will one day meet that better version of ourselves. If this message resonated with you and you followed us on this journey, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribe to Evolve Every Day so you don't miss out on more content like this. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it today. And I truly want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know which lesson stood out to you the most. Thank you for watching, and remember, the evolution is daily.